Hi, I'm Michelle Stacy-Schroeder, Recreation Services Administrative Supervisor for the City of Prescott, coordinator of the Veterans Day Parade in the City of Prescott, and your host for Prescott Today. Today we have a great guest, Pat Kuykendall. We'll be talking to you about the upcoming Veterans Day Parade on Saturday, November 11th. Pat, thanks for being here this morning.
Hello, Michelle. Thanks for inviting me. What a great day in Prescott, huh?
It is. It's a beautiful day out there. So you and I served together on the Veterans Day Committee, and we're going to tell the folks out there what the parade is about this year, what time it happens, where it's going to be, all that good stuff. But before I get to all that, I want to talk to you a little bit. You and I are both veterans. Thank you for your service. Army veterans. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Why is the Veterans Day Parade important to you as far as your help on the committee and making sure that this is one of the best parades in the city of Prescott and for the state of Arizona as far as veterans go?
Sure, and you know, the pride of Prescott hosting this parade is very unique. You know, it used to be at the VA, and when Father was mayor, they outgrew it out there, and I think you were working with him, with the city, and moved it here to Prescott. So Prescott's carried on a really good tradition of something that started small out at the VA, outgrown a location, and now the city has taken it on. And you know, we're the only parade in northern Arizona. You know, there's some little small get-togethers in other cities and communities, but for Yavapai County and Prescott to host the one and only Veterans Day Parade is outstanding.
And your dad was a huge part in that when he was mayor, moving it out to the city from the VA. That decision has really helped it to grow. We've been able to get more entries, more people to come out and support it and watch it and be a part of it. So many thanks to your dad's hard work on that.
Well, he's smiling from above. But, you know, and I also, you know, and I think the committee when we first met we had the discussion about Veterans Day. It's not one day. November should be Veterans Month. And I think you and I as Army veterans should proclaim Veterans Month for Prescott and Yavapai County.
Yes, it is a great month. It's a great day. Recently, Prescott was named one of the most patriotic cities in Arizona. Do you think that the Veterans Day Parade has a lot to do with that? I know you and I have talked about that when I served with you on the Mayor's Commission on Veteran Initiatives, and the great influx of veterans in the community. But do you think that the parade being as big as it's gotten has to do with the veteran community in the area?
Sure, I think, you know, when we're at 18% is what we're saying for number of veterans in the community, it definitely has an effect. And as we look at across the community, the number of veteran-owned businesses, the number of veterans that had left to serve their country and came back, you know, with our ROTC programs, our Student Veterans Organization programs out at Embry-Riddle, the programs for veterans at Yavapai College, and then being a very large retirement community. You know, people move here for the weather, but they move here for the VA. So veterans, you know, pick the places they want to be. So I think that contributes all to the success of Prescott being the Arizona's patriotic city.
And I love this area. It warms my heart at the parade when I'm watching all the people trickle in, and it just gets larger and larger, and everybody comes out so patriotic and so thankful to the servicemen and women that are sitting in the audience and in the parade, and you know, just the magnitude of people that stand and take off their hats and salute when the flag comes marching down the street. It's really a remarkable scene. Let's talk about the parade itself. Each year, you and I know, we pick a different theme. We've honored women veterans, we've honored Korean War veterans, Vietnam veterans. Let's talk about the significance of this year's theme and what that theme is.
Well, you know, and I think during the meetings, and first of all, kudos to you. You've been putting it on a long time. You're the organizer, and we're so honored. The team is so honored to work under your guidance and your supervision on this parade, and we all take honor. And what's great about this committee is there is no I. Everything is done in a we form. We discuss it. We work together. We work through it if there's a problem. But everybody knows their part. And then, you know, even the morning of. I mean, I wish the listeners could see the logistics that go into it. the forming, you know, and we always get that last minute entry that needs to be in the middle here, but there's no room for them. And so, you know, just the working together, and then the outstanding support from the police and fire in the city is second to none. But, you know, the theme this year is really recognizing the OIF, the OEF, the Desert Storm veterans, our younger generation who are still fighting the demons that they came back with that deployed.
Yep.
And this is recognizing them, and I wish we had more in the community, but I'm excited to see how many are going to march in the parade with the recognition of their service.
Yeah, you know, we've talked a lot about that at our meetings about, you know, this new generation of warriors and the mental health crisis that they're dealing with, the health issues, the burn pit medical stuff that they've endured, and thankfully, you know, with legislation like the PACT Act, those veterans that served during Desert Storm, Operation Iraqi Freedom, Operation Enduring Freedom, are getting the medical care that they need. You know, PTSD has been a tremendous
Burden.
It really is a burden, and I think the VA and legislation has really taken notice. But along with the PACT Act, for those veterans, it's also recognizing some of the hazards that our Vietnam veterans endured as well. And so I think, you know, kudos to the VA and all of our legislative lawmakers that are helping to pass these things so that the veterans get the help that they need.
Well, and I think it's great that, you know, each year we pick a theme, but this is all veterans parade. And this is also recognizing their families, their spouses, their kids, their family members, their brothers and sisters. It's a family veterans event. Nobody's excluded.
Right, right. So let's talk a little bit about the parade. When is it? We know it's Saturday, November 11th.
November 11th.
What goes on that day? What can people expect when they come downtown for the parade?
Well, I think the first thing you're going to sense is patriotism. The flags flying, the sound of music, the setting up, the people, the older veterans. I mean, it's amazing how many older veterans show up with their hats and their uniform, and they're wandering around, you know, just shaking hands and smiling, and people are thanking them for their service. It's a very warm, family-orientated feeling in a patriotic city. And, you know, being right downtown where so many political actions took place with John McCain, a decorated Navy hero, and so much has happened at the courthouse, but to have everything right there,
Right.
you know, in the first territorial capital of Arizona is amazing.
Before we go further on the parade itself and what time it starts and the opening ceremonies, let's talk a little bit about Friday, November 10th and what's going on that day.
Well, you know, that's such a somber event. It's the vigil where the Embry-Riddle ROTC is going to be pulling guard on our Veterans Memorial right there. You know, it's a great event. This was implemented a couple years ago, and
yeah, you know, it was really, I got a lot of feedback, positive feedback on that, because prior to COVID, the cadets would do 24-hour guard at the flagpole at the VA, and due to COVID guidelines and policies, they could no longer do that. So I'd worked with the Yavapai County Board of Supervisors to get permission for the cadets to pull guard duty on the All Veterans Memorial on the west side of the courthouse plaza. And it's been an amazing event. People go out throughout the night for 24 hours to watch these cadets, these young men and women who are looking to have a career in the military, pull 24-hour guard on that memorial. And this year, we are including something a little bit different. We're actually going to do a wreath-laying ceremony similar to what is done at the Tomb of the Unknown in Arlington. We've been working with the Air Force ROTC on how that's going to work. The wreath will be presented to the mayor of Prescott, and then it will be laid, and it will sit there for the whole 24 hours. So that's going to start on Friday, November 10th at 10 a.m. on the west side of the courthouse plaza. Looking forward to that, and I know you do, and I know you go in the middle of the night when you can't sleep.
That's it. Well, I mean, it's a 24-hour vigil, but we're looking at our future leaders, and I think it's very respectful, those of us that have served and those that haven't served, supporting them as they finish their education and they make tough decisions, whether they're going to go active duty, whether they're going to stay in the reserve, but they're going to be fighting for our freedom for years to follow. So we need to support them now and show our gratitude and appreciation.
Exactly. Let's talk about Veterans Day. So the festivities kick off with an opening ceremony at 10:30. What can people expect to see at the opening ceremony, and why is it significant?
Well, you're going to see, again, a lot of patriotism. This year is very unique because everybody that has this part is a veteran, which is outstanding. And, for
including yourself, you're going
I
to
get
be
to do
doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
That's outstanding. I better study. But, for Congressman Crane to be able to take time out of his busy schedule to come up and be in our parade, I wonder how many events he gets invited to on Veterans Day. But
right, and he will be our keynote speaker.
Right.
We also have guest speakers from the Mayor of Prescott, the Director of the Northern Arizona VA Healthcare System. We have posting of the colors with the territorial regulators. We have the national anthem, Pledge of Allegiance.
Well, we got to keep Stan Goligowski. He's
Yes,
our master of
yes,
ceremonies.
we
We'll
have
miss
a-
Karen because
Yes,
Karen's been
yes.
outstanding for so many years, but she's out of town. But
New Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Stan Goligowski. And
Army
then,
veteran.
Even our judges, we have some veterans serving as judges for the parade. And then Mitch Padilla, he'll be doing the proclamation when we stop the parade. So the opening ceremony starts at 10:30, and then the parade starts at 11. Let's talk about where it starts and what the route is, and where people can sit and all that good stuff.
Well, right there on Cortez, and it starts down there by the old Country Bank or the old Foothills Bank, and works its way down Cortez to the old post office, makes a right, goes down Whiskey Row, and ends down at the end of Whiskey Row, right here at the City Building.
And that starts at 11. The parade starts at 11. It will stop at 11:11, and I'll let you talk a little bit about why we stop it at 11:11 and what happens at that point.
Well, everything stops at 11:11. It's out of respect for Veterans Day and the proclamation. That's Justice of the Peace Mitch Padilla is going to read the proclamation, but it's a very patriotic symbol showing respect for the flag, for our country, and for the veterans who have served.
I know, like with my kids in high school, I don't think they really go over like Veterans Day and what the meaning is. So I think the reading of the Armistice Proclamation,
Sure.
which is then the Veterans Day Proclamation, is important because it signified the end of World War I, and it's a day that is celebrated all over the country, or all over the world. I know that in England and in Great Britain they celebrate Remembrance Day, and it's to signify the end of the World War I, the end of the fighting, and that was big World War, and so the world hadn't seen that before.
Right.
With so many different countries. So it's a very important day here and abroad. And I'm really glad that we include that as part of the parade and the opening ceremony. Let's talk a little bit about Grand Marshals. In years past, we have had Grand Marshals. We've had World War II veterans. We've had Korean War veterans. Special people that are identified as Grand Marshals. This year, we are not doing Grand Marshals. I think we started that last year where we didn't have a specific Grand Marshal. But this year, we are inviting any and all veterans that served during Desert Storm, Iraqi Freedom, Enduring Freedom, to join us and walk in the parade, get that recognition, get that welcome home, get that big thank you from the community that stands and supports them. And it's a way for them to, feel that love that maybe wasn't prevalent when they first got back from deployment or, on their service. So what are your thoughts on that?
Again, it's just such a humbling experience to be able to see this. Many of our OAF, Iraqi Freedom veterans have, service dogs or families that they're there to provide support. I think we're going to see a very large turnout, and I think it's a start of something maybe in the future when we're doing a specific recognition, is to invite them to be part, you know, and we have done that in the past, and many of our older veterans aren't able to walk that far, but I think this is going to be a great turnout, and it's going to be a great recognition for our warriors.
And what I like about that is, you know, there's a lot of times where I don't necessarily tell people that I'm a veteran, because not that I'm not proud of my service, but I didn't do it for the recognition. I did it because it was a job. And a lot of veterans, they don't want that recognition either. And so I think being able to walk with fellow servicemen and women that you may or may not have served with, but you served in the same time period, served in the same conflict, I think it's a way to acknowledge for themselves and be proud of themselves for what they did as a job, or, you know, for whatever reason they went into the military. Be acknowledged, but not necessarily be called out by name.
Right.
And I think that's very moving. One of the biggest parades in the state, if not the largest. We've already touched on the fact that it's the only parade in northern Arizona. How many entries do we have this year? Do you remember?
I think 115.
115
Nice.
is what we're looking at. What makes this parade unique in the city of Prescott is it's the only parade that there's no entry fee. We don't turn anybody away. Everybody is welcome to participate. Everybody's welcome to walk in the parade, and it's absolutely free. We've got a few marching bands. We've got some car clubs. We have horses. We have scouts. We have nonprofits. We have
veteran-owned businesses.
Veteran-owned businesses. We've got
we got non-veteran-owned businesses that
yeah,
just
we've
want
got
to
a
support our
lot.
veterans.
Yep, we have a lot of commercial entries this year. Let's talk about the categories for our parade entries. We have nonprofit, motorized, marching units. We have hospital entries by veterans, music, you name it. I think there's 7 in total. And then we have the best overall category. And that is named in honor of our title sponsor, APS. They put a lot of money into this parade. They are very patriotic. They love it. They themselves have won that best overall a couple times. I don't know if you saw it last year, but their Vietnam entry was outstanding. And so our awards that are given this year, we have custom awards.
Right,
they are intricate pieces of woodwork that are just amazing. And I want to give a shout out to Mike Ames Creations for putting in all of that hard work on those awards. When you see them, you have to see them to believe them, because the amount of detail that he put into each one of those is just amazing.
Yeah, Mike did an outstanding job, so kudos to Mike.
Yes. We have judges that vote on the parade entries as they come in.
Right.
We already talked about Justice of the Peace, Mitch Padilla, being one of our judges. We've got Mary Ann Suttles is going to be a judge, Penny Pilato.
Lisa Johnston.
We had Ken Bennett, but we had to
Ken wants
release
to be
him because he wants to be in the parade.
And
And we've got Supervisor Mary Mallory. That's going to be first time, and so
Mary's,
we're excited to have her.
Mary's father is a Baton Memorial Death March survivor, and we march in honor of him every year at White Sands. So glad to have Mary on board this year.
Well, I hope she enjoys it, because we want to have her back again and again. So let's talk about the basic details of the parade, where people can sit. Every year we get a question about, is there special veteran seating? We will have seats set up under Easy Ups across from the stage, which is at the intersection of Union and Cortez. Veterans can come and sit with their spouses, their families. We have about 75 to 100 chairs. The first 2 rows are going to be reserved for the CLC patients at the Northern Arizona VA. Those that are bedridden and you know, they've been living pretty much at the hospital. It gives them an opportunity to come out and get out for the day and watch the parade. So the first couple rows will be reserved for them, but anybody can come and sit.
Sure, and you know what's amazing is, you know, we get there at O-Dark-30 and there's chairs lined up.
It
is O-Dark-30. People aren't
30.
leaving Whiskey Row on Friday night and putting their chair out on, you know, when they get done and there. But there's a lot of chairs out at
So
dusk at dawn.
it's important to let people know that we do have 2 areas for announcers, one at the main stage, as we said, Cortez and Union Street. And then on Montezuma, right outside of Matt's Saloon, we have another table for an announcer to talk about who's coming through, which entry is coming by. We don't know what the weather's going to be like. So we encourage people to dress in layers, bring some blankets, bring your chairs, bring your blankets. You can sprawl out on the courthouse plaza and watch it from there.
Sure.
But as Pat said, the parade route will go south on Cortez Street to Goodwin, and then across Goodwin to Montezuma. So anywhere in those areas, and that'll go all the way down to Willis. So anywhere in those areas, feel free to come and sit and watch and be patriotic. We have the scouts passing out flags beforehand.
Right.
And what I love about them is they make cookies, and they got the Boy Scouts involved last year. So the girl and the Boy Scouts will be passing out flags and cookies and thank you cards to any veteran that they see. And that's always a good time because, you know, like you and I, as you said, we're out there, dark 30, we're a little bit hungry. And so those cookies go a long way. Let's talk about parking. Just like any event in downtown Prescott, you kind of have to get in where you fit in. There's no designated parking except for on Union Street. So on Union Street from Marina to Cortez, the first half will be designated parking for people that are participating in the opening ceremony and staff that's been working on the parade. But the second half will be reserved for handicap placard parking only. So if you have one of those placards, we do have it manned by a volunteer that will be making sure that there is a handicap placard on, and then you can park down there. But everywhere else, it's free game. Get in where you fit in, find a parking spot.
Right here at City Hall and the old City Hall over
Right.
on Cortez. So those are 2 great locations to park.
Yeah, and get there early. The opening ceremony starts at 10:30, but the parade route will be closed at 9 o'clock. So it's important to get down there if you're going to try and sit by the courthouse plaza, to get down there early enough so you can sit down in your chairs and you don't have to haul them from, 4 or 5 blocks away.
Exactly.
So, pop-up tents. Can people bring pop-up tents to view the parade? Makes it a little chilly with the weather, but I think that if the sun is a problem, you're more than welcome to. We just can't stake it into the ground.
Right.
You can put it on the street, on the asphalt. We talked about patriotism, standing on that stage and introducing our master of ceremonies and being up there for the opening ceremonies. I love seeing the red, white, and blue. I love seeing the scarves and the hats and the flags, and we encourage everybody to bring flags and all that stuff that shows support for our veterans and America and our nation and everything.
Sure, and so many are wearing their branch colors, so it's really very patriotic.
In years past, we've had the parade streamed. I know that we've been working on a live stream with KYCA. We're hoping that will happen, so that'll be on 1490 AM.
And on their Facebook page.
And on their Facebook page. We've got Lynn Lemaster, she's going to be streaming it as well. We've got City of Prescott going to be streaming it. We're also working on getting some news stations from the Valley to come up and do that. I think last year we had AZ Family 3 that came up and did their early morning show, and then they were there for the parade, and so that was a cool thing to have. We never had that before. What else? We got a little bit of time.
It's there's a lot of events happening up too. Prescott Valley. Well, Monday we've got the quarterly veteran business mixer right at the hub on Marina with U.S. Vets and the Prescott Chamber. And then the Prescott Valley Chamber is having a veterans breakfast or lunch on November 9th, free to veterans. So go to the Prescott Valley Chamber website to register. After the parade, the American Legion, Post 6, always does hot dogs and hamburgers for veterans and their families right up there at 202 South Pleasant. So many things going on.
So many things, and as always, there's several uh, chain restaurants in the area that do veteran meals on Veterans Day.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's a couple of haircut places that give out coupons for free veteran haircuts. You can go get a free meal at one of several restaurants in the area, whether it's breakfast, lunch or dinner. You can eat for free all day if you hit them all at the right time.
Sure. Well, and again, we have so many veteran-owned businesses here in Prescott, so in the future we'll really try to come up with a list. I know the chamber is working on it, Prescott Valley Chamber is working on it, but support the veteran-owned businesses.
And on that note, I want to take a time to give a shout out to all of our sponsors.
Right.
This parade is put on by the city. We partner with the Veterans Administration at the VA hospital, but community support, not just on the committee, but through sponsorship, has been huge. You want to touch a little bit on some of the sponsors that we received this year?
Well, we've got APS, we've got Fan Construction, we've got Northern Arizona VA.
We have York Dodge. We've
Lamb
got,
Chevrolet.
Yep, Lamb Chevrolet. We also have
Arizona Ranch and Resort Cars, Lance out there.
Yep, Empire West Title. We have Summit 4x4 Club, or Summit 4x4 Company, and then we also got an additional donation from their club and Girls Tribe.
Nice.
So big shout out to them. We also get, small monetary donations from some of the nonprofits, some of the people that are just there to participate. We've got a great committee that has been working tirelessly for months to put this together. And I know that I can say for myself, and you are included in that, this parade isn't what it is without all of your help and support, from Patty and Chris, who do the announcing, to Lynn, who does all of the typing of the scripts, to Barb and Denise that help get everybody lined up and get them going at the start of the parade, to Penny and her crew that do the check-in. It's just so much. And I'm really appreciative to all of you. Being a veteran and being in charge of this parade is very humbling for me. I talked a little bit earlier about, not always wanting the recognition, and as much as the committee tries to get me to be more involved in the parade and speaking, it's not about me, and I'm very honored to be able to bring this parade to fruition every year since 2016. Give it a veteran's spin, a veteran's point of view, bring honor and tradition to the parade. It's one of the greatest events that I can be a part of. And so I'm thankful to you. I'm thankful to the rest of our committee. I'm thankful to the city for entrusting me to do this. It's been a great honor. And
well, let's give shouts out to your boss, Joe Baines.
Yes.
He's very veteran friendly. You have a veteran as the number 2 in charge. And
yes.
I forgot his name.
Tim Legler.
Tim, sorry about that. But Tim still serving in the Guard.
No, he's retired now.
Is he retired now? But, very patriotic, and the whole city's patriotic.
Yes.
I mean, every division with the city is so patriotic. It's mind-boggling how supportive they are.
Yeah, it's a great entity to work for, and I'm glad to be a part of it. One last thing about the parade.
Well, this is the kickoff. This kicks off the Christmas city. So we go from being the patriotic city
to
the Christmas city, and then the light parade at the end of the month.
And then the Christmas parade, the courthouse lighting.
There is so much acronite. There's so much going on, but it's great that the veterans can take their month and kick off, the holidays.
Right.
And it's really good. And we need a month. So many different groups have months that they're recognized. Veterans deserve more than one day. They need a month.
You know what I'm really looking forward to, though, as part of this parade, is for the first time we have the Prescott Fire Department hanging a flag over the intersection of Cortez and Gurley Street. So it'll be really neat. It reminds me of like the old parades I used to watch in New York City, having everybody walk under that flag and just the patriotism, and just it gives me goosebumps.
Well, that's
I
it.
can't
You know
wait
how
for
many
it.
people are, all the entries are going to be saluting Old Glory when they go underneath it. That's
Yep.
amazing.
I'm looking forward to it a lot.
And it's kicked off by Prescott Police Department,
Yes.
so that's great.
Prescott Police Department always leads it off. Real quick recap, we have the wreath laying ceremony and start of the 24-hour guard at 10 a.m. on Friday, November 10th.
And that's a holiday.
And that is a holiday. And then the parade will start with the opening ceremony at 10:30 on Saturday the 11th, followed by the start of the parade at 11 o'clock. And then we pause at 11:11, and then the parade will continue. Pat, I just want to thank you so much for all of the support that you give to this Veterans Day parade. Thank you again for your service. It's going to be a great day.
Well, thanks for your leadership and direction and vision.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And that's all for our show today. Thanks again, Pat, for joining me here today. Thank you so much for joining us. Can't wait to see you at the parade. We'll see you on Saturday, November 11th.